So this is the last time I'm going to talk about this. I think we're all tired of it, but I think it needs to be said. Hi guys, it's Siri, so welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk again about audiobooks. I have done, one specific video in audiobooks, which I've taken down since then, and then I've also talked about audiobooks in a video called BookTube Pet Peeves, which a lot of people are still responding to that video, sort of being upset with me for what I said about audiobooks. And first of all, I don't think that that response is entirely unwarranted, and I will go more into that. But basically, I also think a lot of people misunderstood what I was saying in a lot of ways, so I wanted to clarify. So this video is supposed to be both a sort of apology for the way I phrase things, as well as just trying to clearly point out what I actually meant, because in that video I don't think I made it clear enough. So for context, I'm gonna put the clip in here where I talk about it. So this video is filmed in September of 2017, and looking back on it, I'm really agitated in that clip. I think it's just because in general with rant videos I get a little bit heated. I think that's also part of why people kind of were upset with me, because I was talking in such a sort of assertive sense, kind of being this is fact, everything else is wrong, kind of that sort of giving off that kind of vibe. And I want to make it clear that this was just my opinion. I didn't ever, even regardless of what I said, it's never my intention to police other people or to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I am only ever coming from a place of this is how I view it. You can do what you like, but this is my opinion on it. So I never ever want to infringe on anybody's rights to do what they like, right? I just want to make that clear, because sometimes I don't think it is clear to some people. But anyway, let's just watch the clip right now.
The first thing I don't like is when people say that they are reading audiobooks. I have done a video about audiobooks and why I don't like audiobooks and why I don't consider them proper reading, because you're just listening to someone reading the story to you and you might not be paying enough attention, and it doesn't really count to me. It's just, for me personally, I don't like audiobooks, and that's fine. And I'm obviously not the BookTube police going around oh, you can't put that on your red pile because you just listen to it. That's not what I'm on about at all. I just don't like when people say reading audiobooks instead of listening to audiobooks. Or they say, I read this in this book, and then they were I read it as an audiobook. You didn't. Reading, you do with your eyes. Listening, you do with your ears. So don't say that you're reading audiobooks, because it just makes my skin crawl. I don't know why.
So the first thing I think I need to address is that I said I don't think audiobooks are proper reading, and I want to elaborate on why I said it. Many people have said that I should have considered blind and dyslexic people in that aspect, and I do agree with that. I didn't think about that at all, and I do think that was quite ignorant of me. I apologize, but at the same time, I wasn't trying to talk in a prescriptive way. I wasn't trying to make rules. I wasn't trying to enforce anything, right? I was literally just saying that to me, reading and listening to something are different things. It's a different medium. It's a different experience for many reasons, and so I wouldn't necessarily equate them. And I know it comes across, because I also kind of said it in the video, I'm saying listening to an audiobook is less than reading a book physically. I think what I was trying to say is that they're not the same things, which they're not, but I unfortunately phrased it and framed it like it was a qualifier, one thing is better than the other, and I think that was where I went wrong, and I do apologize for that. But to backtrack a little bit on the argument as a whole, I do think that people misunderstood what I was trying to say, because the point of putting this into my pet peeves video wasn't trying to say you people who only listen to audiobooks or who are only capable of listening to audiobooks, you don't belong in the reading community. You're trying to say that you're reading when you're not. Like, that's never, ever, ever what I wanted to say with that. I understand it could come across like that, but that's why I'm finally making this video, because I feel like I've still not completely addressed the situation. Breaking it down, I think there's just two aspects to the whole thing, and that's the physicality of it and then the evaluation aspect of it, right? So let's first of all focus on the physicality, and for me, that's the crux of the matter. Like, that's why I included in my pet peeves, is literally just because you can't read with your eyes, you can't read something that is just sound. You can't read sound, you listen to sound. That's literally why I put it in my pet peeves, because the phrase reading an audiobook syntactically, semantically, I don't know which, doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because it doesn't work that way. You listen to an audiobook. That's why it was a pet peeve. It was a pet peeve because that phrase doesn't make sense. It wasn't at any deeper level than that. It was literally just, I don't like, it's not even like I don't like, because that makes it sound much more sort of deep than it is and much more grave than it is. It's a pet peeve. It's very nitpicky. It's super anal, like it's super dumb. That's literally the only reason I put it into that video. It's about petty little things that annoy you. It was never a matter of, oh my god, these people conflate real reading with fake reading. Like, that was never even remotely what I was trying to say. And I was never trying to talk about other people's experiences either. Again, I don't think I made that clear enough. I definitely didn't make that clear enough. I was never trying to say, if other people listen to audiobooks, I'm 100% sure they don't perceive the books the same way as they do if they would read them physically. Like, that's never what I was trying to say. I was saying, or trying to say, and failing, that personally, for me, listening to audiobooks and listening to reading physical books is very different. It's a very different experience. Listening to audiobooks is very conducive to multitasking, whereas reading really isn't. Like, you can't do anything else while reading a book. But listening to an audiobook, you can do pretty much anything. And that automatically kind of divides your attention and automatically tends to make you focus less on what you're listening to. Now, obviously, everybody has different experiences, different brains, different preferences. Somebody might just sit on the couch and listen to something and, be able to give it their full attention. And that's actually not my business at all to question that. And I wasn't trying to do that. I was literally just trying to say that to me they're different experiences, and I view them differently, and I talk about them differently. And for example, since making that video, I've actually listened to more audiobooks. I think before then I'd only ever listened to one or two. It's never really been my thing. And since then I've discovered that I actually quite enjoy listening to non-fiction audiobooks, because they're not really much about a narrative, even though sometimes they do include narratives, but mostly it's about facts, it's about information. It's like listening to a podcast kind of thing. And it's not really requiring much immersion of you, because you're not really being taken off into a different world. It's pretty much the same world, but a specific topic in that world. So for me, that really works, listening to an audiobook. For example, I can't really listen, I don't ever want to even try listening to like fantasy books, for example, or like exciting action storybooks or anything like that, or even fiction of any kind, because I really like getting to sit down with a book and like immerse myself in it, and being able to like take it at my own pace, and being able to kind of have my own voices for people in my head, or like being able to reread passages I particularly liked or anything like that, makes it like adds so much to that experience for me, which is why for most books I prefer reading physical books. Again, because I feel like I have so much more agency in how the world looks like in my head when it's not somebody else's voice sort of telling it to me, and there's not really anybody else like in that situation with me at that point, right? So that's really a distinction I wanted to make. So it's like my personal view, my personal preference, and that combined with a pet peeve of kind of cringing a little when people use the wrong verb to go with an object, I guess it is. So I want to reiterate, I never had any malicious intentions. I do understand that what I said upset some people, and it was wrong. I was wrong in the way I phrased it. It didn't fully reflect my opinions at the time, but even so, I do think, I should have spent a little more time just like considering the thing as a whole, instead of even making it seem like I was taking a qualifying stance on the matter. I just hope this video cleared some things up. I'm really sorry if I upset you. I hope that this video gave you some more clarity. I don't typically think that you should have to apologize for your opinions, just because I think everybody should be able to have whatever opinion they have. But I think in that case, I didn't fully represent my own opinion actually, and I never ever intended for that to like upset anyone or hurt anyone. So I just wanted to make that clear. Now it's done. Now we can move on. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your own thoughts on audiobooks in the comments down below if you wish to do so, and I hope to see you very soon with another video. Until then, have a lovely week. Bye!